The NCP leadership tussle between Sharad Pawar and Ajit Pawar has reached the Election Commission, with both of them insisting that their faction is the real NCP. The war over party symbol after a split in the political party is not uncommon in India. We've seen many of these cases. To help us understand how the Election Commission decides on these matters, we have with us former Chief of the Election Commission, O.P. Rawat, who has presided over similar battles for the party symbol in the case of AIDMK, Samajwadi Party and the JDU during his tenure. Thank you for speaking to NDTV, sir. In the case of NCP, we know that both factions have written to the Election Commission, and the EC will take some time to look at the issue and to see if it really warrants proceedings under the symbols order. But what do you think the Commission's approach is likely to be in this case?
EC's approach will be following a template prescribed by Honorable Supreme Court in Sadiq Ali case of 1971, when they decided the matter based on Election Commission's order in a split of Indian National Congress. I think that is what they will apply.
So tell us, Mr. Rawat, when you were handling the cases pertaining to AIDMK and Samajwadi Party, what were the challenges that you faced in deciding which faction has the real majority?
Whenever there are splits, factions of political parties, they try all sorts of things. Like in AIDMK case, they brought truckloads of affidavits of their, party workers. Now, that is number one, impossible to scrutinize in a short time, because these things are to be decided not in a manner that you have to collect evidence, cross-question and all those things, and it takes months and years. You have to decide in days. Like AIDMK elections were, by-elections were coming, so Samajwadi Party, UP elections were coming. So in January 17, Election Commission decided this case in a number of days only. And that is possible to go through this symbols order, which was promulgated in 1968, and go through viable test, which is a test of majority in organization wing and test of majority in legislative wing.
So the test of majority, I understand, becomes more critical in these cases, and in many of them, including the Shiv Sena and NCP, we saw one faction making an argument that only the legislative party has split, while the primary members, office bearers and workers are firmly on the other side. So how much do these divisions matter when the Election Commission actually gets down to deciding such cases?
Actually, they try to disqualify the legislators of other faction. Now, EC cannot go into that because that is out of their jurisdiction. Disqualification is either a matter of the judicial review or is the authority of the speaker concerned. So they would go strictly by whatever is the party constitution prescribing for organizational wing, and for legislator, they will always go by the numbers. Disqualification or otherwise is not material. Whatever numbers on the day of split were on this side will be counted here, that side will be counted there, and that will decide as to who has the majority.
So I understand the timing is very important here, because we hear of MLAs of one camp shifting to the other camp in a few days and sometimes even going back. So does the affidavit here become more important?
The evidence submitted by both factions, and evidence is generally in the form of affidavits, that we owe allegiance to this faction, like that. So those affidavits, their genuineness, their authenticity, that is scrutinized by the Election Commission, and then they go by that.
So in cases like this, we also see claims and counterclaims. What kind of evidence, apart from affidavits, does the EC look at to verify what the factions are saying?
Yeah, that is what I said, that if you bring in affidavits of primary members or block level organization executive members, or even for the district level, that becomes a huge number. And that wherewithal to scrutinize in a short span of time is not available with the EC. So that is why they apply the test that state level, for a state level recognized party, and for national level organizational executive members, and also state level, how many state executive are with them. So that much only they can handle and therefore those are considered viable tests by Election Commission, and they go by that.
So, Mr. Rawat, what happens to the other group that doesn't get the symbol or the name? Does it have to re-register itself as a separate party, and will it really have the same status as the mother party?
They have to re-register as a new party. They may have a name, similar name, like Congress J or Congress I, like that. They can have some suffix or prefix and have the similar name. But they will have to have a different symbol, and they will have to show election results to get recognition. The mother party's recognition will not devolve.
So there is also this question of jurisdiction. So what comes in the ambit of Election Commission and what doesn't? You just now explained that the body does not get into disqualification. And former Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has said that the Election Commission can award symbols, but it does not have the power to change the name of the party. Would that be true?
EC's mandate under para 15 of symbols order is only to allocate original party name and original party symbol to the faction which has been recognized by EC based on the evidence as the main party, original party. The remaining faction, they will have to, as I said earlier also, that they will have to have the same name but with some prefix or suffix so that it becomes different. EC is not changing the name. EC is asking them to either suffix or prefix or do something and can have the same name. And symbol you can have from the free symbol, you can ask for some free symbol.
So we see most of these cases also end up in courts, and there are also many court rulings on inter-party disputes. So have the EC rulings largely been upheld by courts?
Yeah, you are right. Starting with Sadiq Ali in INC case, Samajwadi Party, AIADMK, all these cases, matters went up to Supreme Court. And these were upheld by High Court as well as Supreme Court, because all these decisions were based on the reasoning of majority being on the recognized side, and therefore the order was passed accordingly.
So how do you see the NCP battle playing out? Do you think it could be a prolonged process?
Such battles may continue in a democracy like ours, because we are a nascent democracy. Just about 75 years have gone. So such adjustments, faction fights, all these things are a normal political process, and these will continue. But for EC, there is absolutely no issue. They will issue notices to both the factions to submit the evidence on their side and afford them an opportunity of hearing. And based on that, they will pass their order under symbols orders para 15. And I think that is accepted by all the factions. If they are aggrieved, they go to the court. And courts have been upholding the EC's decision in such matters. So I feel it's a normal kind of event at the EC level, and it will happen that way.
And also, how important is the presence of the founding member in a faction that may not have the numbers? Is that relevant to the Election Commission's process of deciding who represents the real party?
No, founding person is not material. Material in a democracy is the party organization. Now, party organization is built up based on the national or state executive, their elected members, or some general council like AIADMK had general council, most of the elected members. So that is the party organization. Going down below, like block level or primary membership level, it is not humanly possible for EC to verify, and therefore they don't go. So just those levels. And legislature wing, they go that way. Third thing was aims and object. Now that is very dicey. So that test is generally dropped because every faction will claim that the other faction has not been following the aims and objects of the party. And it's very difficult to zero in on the precise verdict on that issue.
Thank you, Mr. Rawat, for speaking to NDTV.